Hey everybody, it's Lorri GLP-1 Journey in Review Live. How's everybody doing? Happy Easter. I hope you're having a great weekend, enjoying your holiday. Um, don't be too hard on yourself if you eat what you normally wouldn't eat because, it is a holiday. And I always tell people, moderation is the key. You're gonna have days that you just don't eat what you normally do, and that's okay. So, I want to start off by saying I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a healthcare provider. I'm just very passionate about GLP-1 medication and how I eat, and I want to spread what I know, and hopefully you'll learn something in that. I'd like for you all to like, subscribe, share. It really does help this channel, and we have some stuff to talk about today. Never a dull moment in the compounding world. So I ordered from Orderly. Uh, it took like 9 or 10 days, but my order should be here either tomorrow or Tuesday. Uh, they, s- I got the tracking information, but I don't believe they do anything on the weekend. So it actually might be Tuesday or Wednesday, but that's okay. They let you order up to 3 months at a time. So that's what I did. In the meantime, Mochi's sending me out my normal monthly medication. Uh, wasn't able to really reach them, but somebody had like a secret link that was sent out to some high influencers, and I used it, and they messaged me that my order should be going out Monday. So hopefully I'll get them both at the same time or within a day of each other, and I'll show you all how they're packed and how I received them. Both of them in their information said, don't be upset if it comes warm. Just get it back in the refrigerator. It should be fine. So it looks like at least the compounding world is kind of giving up on that idea. Although I have received them all uh, cold. So that really hasn't been a problem, except from the first place that I originally ordered when I first started my journey, and there were a lot of red flags on that. So we'll get into that maybe a little bit later. So we'll see how everything goes, and like I said, then we'll get into it. Mochi still having a really hard time reaching them. I found it best between 4 and 5 in the morning. I happen to be up for work, getting ready for work because I started like 5 o'clock. So, that's okay. When it hit 6 o'clock in the morning, forget it. I was on hold for half an hour. I did finally get my refund, and it took a good 10 days for it to actually, from when they said that they issued it till it got to my credit card, but I did get it. Um, According to the app, I'm being charged for the 3 months at a time. That was supposed to have been taken care of. Don't know whether it is. Again, when I did message them, they said that they will take care of it. I don't know if they're just so far behind on their app or their website. Actually, I don't really use their app. I use their website because I heard their app isn't very good. So I just go to their website and sign in. So we'll see how that goes. Again, so far I've been pretty lucky with them, and like I said, I'm not super worried about the charge for the 3 month because if they keep sending me product, I have no problem, and my credit card is very good if I have to dispute it. So again, that's not a problem, uh, and we'll see how that goes. Uh, my wife Carol's trying to say something. I think she's having typo problems. I love your bot, but okay. Sometimes I have typing problems, so we'll see how that goes. Uh, yeah, lately I've actually been typing kind of dyslexic, but that's a whole different thing. So I know that there's a lot of telehealth companies that are folding up, a lot of them with very bad reviews, a lot of them um, I love your backyard. I think you mean background, but that's because again, I'm in bed because she's out by the office watching TV, and the TV would just be too loud by there. So I just put my green screen up and picked a background, and there you have it. So I'm trying vertical, so we probably won't have many people in the chat, but I think it'll be better for the people because most of the people do watch this later. So I'm playing around with some stuff. I have a new camera that I want to try out. It's actually an action camera, but it also does film in 4K, also made by Osmo. It's the Action 5. Gonna do some like workout things because I have a little magnet thing, so I'm actually gonna slap it on some of my workout equipment and see how it does. Uh, Actually, I have a bunch of magnetic mounts. I could actually mount it on my car and put it in time lapse. So who knows, maybe when we drive up for our vacation, which is about an hour and a half away, maybe I'll have it down to like a 40 second drive thing and see how that looks, play around, because I do plan on doing some videos while on vacation. Hopefully have some beach in the background if it's not too noisy. Um, because I do have a couple videos backed up so that I could keep stuff coming out. Uh, some of the videos that I'm working on are menopause, premenopausal, postmenopause, and GLP-1 and weight loss, because a lot of my audience is that age, and if they're not, it doesn't hurt to know about it, doesn't hurt to know about the future. Other stuff coming up. GLP-1 meals. We've done some taste testing of Element and other electrolyte waters coming up. We're also going to be testing some more snacks, and it's by a particular brand, which we haven't used this particular brand, but they made it for one of the diet plans that we were on years ago. And they're basically high protein snacks. And yes, they are processed, but sometimes you have to do that to get your protein in. Just like yesterday was my shot day. And in order to get my protein in, because I find it very hard to eat, it's like I'm actually having the same type of thing now with my protein shake. Uh, my protein shake has about 20 grams of protein. I use the protein milk, which has another 14. I put collagen, which has, I think, another 15 or 20. Some Greek yogurt, which has another 13, 14. So I'm getting 50 to 60 uh, grams of protein just in my protein drink because I'm finding it hard to eat this quickly after my shot. So, right away, like I said, 50, 60. And if I have a piece of fish, be at the low end, but I shoot for between 80 and 120. It might be the low end of 80, but it works. This particular flavor is eggnog. I happen to use Thrive by Lavelle. I happen to like their products. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not trying to sell them at all. I do like their shakes. They do have some B12 in it, and they do have caffeine, so they do give me some energy. Now, my wife can't take them because her B12 was a little bit high, and they have a really good pre and probiotic that you take in the morning before you have your shake. And again, it also has some B12 in it. My wife was taking it. That's probably where her B12 got so high. So we shall see. Uh, I get my blood work in 2 days, 3 days, and later this week. So we'll see how my levels are. Hopefully they're fine and I can continue because I really like these. They also do have a patch where it'll give you B12 and we forgot the name of the ingredient, but it's a tree bark and it's aspirin's is made out of it. So it does have some anti-inflammatory effects to it. And I just like the delivery system because, over 8 hours it goes in, you just put the little sticky thing on your arm or on your stomach and it gets absorbed. How accurate is it? I don't know. I kind of stopped using it because I think I get enough of the B12 and I do enough anti-inflammatory type of stuff. So I stopped using that part. And again, I'm also going to be doing a video on supplements, what supplements are recommended, excuse me, what supplements are recommended, which ones I take and why I'm cutting back on them. And ones that you should definitely let your healthcare provider know because they can interfere with certain types of medications. And that'll be coming up again. I'm trying to get a good stock of videos so that I only really have to do one every other day while I'm on vacation because I kind of want a vacation. So uh, uh, we get up there on a Sunday, so I'm not sure what time my live will be, or if I might have to change it to Monday or Saturday. We'll have to see how that goes because I want to keep you guys informed. As far as other compound companies, like just look into it before you actually use them because a lot of them I'm seeing messages on social media that they're not getting their stuff. They're having to cancel. Some of them are ripoffs. Some of the spas are, I don't even know how they're doing it, but I've never really used one of them. One of the people that I work with does, and I'm going to get in contact with him to find out if he still gets them from them. Uh, we'll see. I really wish Mochi would get their act together. They really, and I'm really hoping that they're hiring a lot of new people to help with this customer service. Now I know it takes time to train them and so forth, but in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I don't think they should be taking on new customers till they could take care of some of these problems. We went through this at my work where we changed a software and our stuff wasn't getting read, and it just medically was irresponsible, and they actually had to shut our whole imaging centers, which we have 9 of them in the area. They had to shut them down for 4 days and actually pay us because it wasn't our fault until they could get somewhat caught up and get the our radiologists able to at least see the images so they could read them. Because if we had something that was urgent or stat, like I could tell them, but they can't really read them from what I tell them. That's you know not really legal. So we just stopped seeing people till we got those little kinks worked out, and that's what I think Mochi should be doing. I think they could have been more transparent because according to everything I've read and heard, Dr. Myra's husband was the owner of Akita, however they want to pronounce it this week. Um, they probably should be hiring a PR company to help them with all of this bad press. I haven't seen that they have, but again, I'm not a business person. I'm an imaging person, and I'm trying to do some YouTube and inform people of what's going on so that they don't, get into any financial problems or anything like that with these companies. So if you're using them, make you probably should not use your ATM Visa type thing or your bank card like that with them. Make sure you're using a credit card that disputes are easy, like American Express, Capital One's good, Discover's good, card like that, in case there is a problem, so that you don't have a problem getting your money back if nothing happens. And, that's pretty much what I've been doing with them because we don't know how long this is going on. So I'm continuing to stockpile a little bit because, again, now they're saying don't worry so much about expiration dates. They're usually good. Vial is usually good for like 30 to 40 days after you first use it, which again, I never really was worried about that. I've used medications that have been expired. In my opinion, if it's a stable medication, I'm okay if it's 99 point something effective, just the way it is. Paying, 200 and something dollars for a month is better than paying $500 or $600 through one of the direct companies, or even 1,000 something a month through a pharmacy. So that's just my opinion. You guys are all entitled to your own. Yes, I do try to use my vials in order of when they're going to expire. So I purposely don't let them expire, but that's the situation with that. So again, uh, I don't know how Join Fridays is. I don't know if they're selling tirzepatide again yet, but it looks like they are going more towards uh, everything is going more towards personalizing the dose and the medication. So we probably, while they're doing the transition, may have to do an extra telehealth visit. Again, they may kind of lead you to say, "Oh, are you having some, stomach issues?" So that they could say, "Oh, well, then we need to add this to it," or, "Oh, I'm really tired. I need to add this vitamin B." And again, they'll probably steer you a little bit towards that so that they can continue making their custom amounts, or say, just like saying, 15, I just have too many side effects, maybe I should try 14, or, how, they're gonna, I'm sure they're gonna kind of lead you into the direction they want you to actually, or what they actually want you to say. Um, so another big story coming out is Eli Lilly and their oral medication. I'm going to try to pull this up here. If I just bear with me a second. On their Orforglipron, they've actually started manufacturing it on their late stage trials because they're so confident that it's going to be approved. And this could be a game changer because they're saying it's as effective as Ozempic, Wegovy type of, or I should say semaglutide, and not use brand names, but they're saying it's just as effective as that. It would probably be perfect for somebody like me on maintenance, where you would just take a daily pill as opposed to a shot every week, and I'd be all for that. And best people's guesses, and again, these are just guesses and rumors, is that it could be available for as low as $200 a month, which is less expensive than the compound, and who knows, it may be even less expensive than that because there's no refrigeration required, so they don't have to worry about refrigeration during travel, getting it to you. The pharmacies won't have to store it in refrigeration, which will be cheaper for them. And, the less expensive that is, hopefully they could pass it on to us and not just give it to the PBMs, which I don't know if the video came out, but I have a video on what is a PBM, pharmacy benefit manager, and is it helping or not helping. If it's not out yet, it should be out in the next day or so. And maybe it might actually be today's video. I apologize for not having my schedule up, but um, it is coming out soon. Uh, and I'm working on some other ideas, GLP-1 meal plans. Are they actually what they say they are? Personally, my feeling on them is I'd like to have a couple of them around, but in order for them to be good for me, they have to be fresh. And I make my own fish, so they would probably be chicken or turkey or something like that. The biggest problem for me is if I was going to use them, it might be once or twice a week, and I don't think they're going to ship that low of a amount because it would just be for me and my wife. If we could get 4 of them a week, I might consider trying some, but I think most minimums are 6 or 8, and I just don't want to have it that much because, like I said, I tend to make my own seafood because it's so plentiful here in South Florida, and I can make a dinner in 10 to 12 minutes with seafood, and just getting it from them, it just wouldn't be as fresh because they have to make it. It takes a day or two to send it to you, and then might be a day or two before you eat it. And usually, about the only thing that they offer is like a salmon or some shrimp. Occasionally, I've seen some mahi, but again, I can make that so quick myself. And I don't know if any of you have a fresh market by you, but they have this really awesome coconut encrusted mahi that literally you could put in your air fryer for like 7-8 minutes, and it's great. And same thing with the pecan encrusted trout, and I think they have a Parmesan encrusted tilapia, which really quick cooking. And because let's face it, you have to take it, out of the refrigerator, take it out of the packaging, 2 to 3 minutes in the microwave. It's not that huge of a time saver, a little less work and obviously less cleanup, but like I said, I wouldn't mind having one or two as a spare. I don't even know if you could freeze them, because that could be an idea. If you have to order 8 of them, is just keep 2 out, freeze them, and just take them out as you need them. And like if I know that I have a busy day, then the day before, just take 2 out. But I have to look into that. That's one of the things I will be looking into. And again, some of these are a little bit higher calories than you know. It is what it is. I don't think that they're too high of calories, but I eat late only because of my work schedule. So that's one reason also why I like seafood, because it digests easier. It just doesn't, sit around because sometimes I don't get home from work till 7. I'm usually in bed about 9 because, like I said, I start at 5 in the morning, and I have to get up a little bit early to sometimes finish some videos or sometimes to work out. Um, so, hey Val, how you doing? Let's see. Okay, down from the start, we have 219 once it. But hey, yay, that's great. That's awesome. Uh, so excited. Shows appetite is working. You can eat normal fish and vegetables and treats. What brand air fryer? Ninja. I tend to go with Ninja. I like the Ninja air fryers. I have a couple of them. Uh, I even have a small one that I travel with. Uh, so, you know, I'll take one on vacation. It is small. And again, sometimes I don't really like to necessarily cook while I'm on vacation, although going out to eat every night, sometimes I get tired of that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I bring it with. It's pretty small, so like I could do 2 small pieces of fish, but if it was larger, I couldn't. Sometimes I'll just get some steaks and grill them up there. But I'm really glad that's great weight loss. That's great progress. Val, I don't know who you're using, if you're still using Mochi. And there we go. Yay, you lost all that weight. Sorry, I had to find it. Um, now let's stop it now. Okay, that's great. Like I said, I eat a lot of fish because of the time of day. I do like chicken, and we've been incorporating a little bit more beef into our diet lately, only because I don't think that sometimes that my wife is getting enough calories, and it is a little bit more caloric. So sorry, just trying to set up my back to my comments. Here we go. Still with Mochi, that's good. There we go. Have you had any problems? I haven't had any problems. I've been pretty lucky. I know that, some people are another backup telehealth for supply issues. That's like I said, and I've switched to Orderly and Mochi because again, we don't know how long this is going to stay. Uh, I'm going to get it as long as I can. Uh, excuse me. I think I have. almost a year's worth in the refrigerator. But if my collection gets to be too big, my wife, who's also on the medication, but she takes brand name because she is type 2 diabetic and it's covered by her insurance. But if I get too much, I'll just let her start using it. But because that I've had really good luck with mochi. I know people haven't. I know that they've been pretty, I'm not going to say good, but at least they're getting it out. Some people have to wait like a month or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, but at least they are getting it out. Um, person with energy. Yeah, that's what I'm surprised is how good I feel. Let me put this comment up there for people that are going to be seeing this later. I can't believe how much energy I have, and I just want to do things like I want to exercise more. I want to take walks. Like I'm one of these that if I had a day or two off, like no, nap time was guaranteed. But now it's like no, I want to keep doing things. I have all this extra energy and the heck, it's. I'm also doing a video on unexpected, uh, usually positive, some negative side effects. For example, being cold all the time. I never expected that as a side effect. You know, not necessarily bad, but just unexpected side effects that people are seeing, and just this amount of energy and what to do with it, and so. I'm like three-quarters of the way done with that script. So, any ideas that people want to say, again, I feel lighter on my feet, and another unexpected side effect is how people look at you, especially like at the gym. It's, like I used to see people when I was in the obese category, kind of like looking at me like, and you're at the chin-up machine, really? Like, and now they don't even bat an eyelash, or sometimes they smile or say hi, where they never did that before. But hey, you know, people are what they are, and so I hope everybody's having a good Easter. Again, I tried to make this a little bit earlier so that it didn't interfere with people's Easter thing, but the majority of people do watch this on the replay, which is, you know, why wanted to do one, even though I wasn't sure if anybody would be able to, because I don't want to seem like I'm insulting anybody on a religious holiday doing actual videos. But I'm glad the few people that are here, and also another video on what I'm eating now in a day versus what I used to eat on now that I'm on maintenance, comparing them, how I'm adding more calories and carbs and into what meal and why and things like that. Um, and a little bit of a spoiler is most of the meals that I'm adding some of the carbs to are meals I have when I'm not home because my wife isn't quite at the same maintenance level like I am. She's still in that losing phase, and I don't want to tempt her, sit there and eat extra carbs in front of her because that's not nice, and got to be nice to the wife, So again, anybody who has any topics, I have contests going on. So if you watch the videos towards the end, I usually tell you how to enter the contest. I'm going to be giving away gift cards to Amazon, or if somebody would prefer a different gift card, anything that could be done via email. I'll contact the winners when I get enough people that have entered. I'll give one away, and I'll contact them, and I'll give them one of my emails because I know not everybody wants to mention their email on a comment or something like that. But I always have an email of GLP-1 Journey and Review at gmail.com. And I do check it. So, like, I'll probably use that one when I contact the winner and they can let me know their email so that I can send them the gift card. Let's see, there's I'm wiped out after the day after my shot. My shot day is Friday. Today I feel fine. Yes, my neighbor noticed me. Isn't that a great feeling when people notice your weight loss? It's just such a good feeling. It's like I lost weight and I'm like, nobody's noticed. And then I realized I'm still wearing my big clothes. I got to get something a little bit smaller. Once I got something a little bit smaller, people did notice. So just a little hint on some people. Uh, yeah, so hopefully they try it and hopefully, they don't judge you for it and, because it's not the easy way out. Yes, it's a tool and yes, it helps and it makes it a little bit easier for me because, or most people because we don't have that food noise, but a lot of people don't understand food noise, so they don't understand that. But we still have to do the work of actually picking the right foods and exercise because with any weight loss, you're going to lose some muscle, and we just have to keep that to a minimum. And that's where the protein and the weight training actually helps because actually, the more muscle you have, the more calories that you burn. Um, if you don't have a lot of muscle and you're hanging on to fat, especially if you don't have enough calories, it's going to take that muscle and burn it into energies because it's going to want that fat you know, there in case it needs it if you're not getting enough calories, which is part of what, the starvation mode is. And on top of it, you're losing muscle, and that's not good. And, the more muscle you have, the more energy you have also. So those are things that you need to show. Show referral links. I have all my referral links on if you go to my YouTube page, under the description of the page, there's all my referral links. I don't have them handy on here to put them on the live. Um, I do periodically put some of them in my videos as a link if it's relatable. Uh, I'm trying to think of some more cooking videos to do. I may change some of it as to because I try to have them in 10, 12 minutes or less. I may just have some ones that take a little bit longer but are worth making. So again, a little change that I might be having on that. Again, I've also changed some of them to a little bit lower cost, but again, a lot of those take a little bit more than 10 minutes to make. So working on some of those, but right now I have like 25, 30 videos in the cooking series, mainly seafood, 10, 12 minutes. I think one of them took 15 minutes. Um, I think I had a pork chop that actually took 18 minutes, but again, I thought it was worth it because although it took 18 minutes, it was just in the air fryer, so it's not like I had to do anything. Let's see what sorry, Val, I'm not really picking on you. It's just I'm trying to see how horizontal versus vertical. I'm doing an experiment to see because like I said, the majority of people actually do see this later if they prefer this because it's a much better picture like this. It fits in the screens better, it fits in phones better. Although YouTube is pushing out the vertical a little bit more, but I don't know how many of the people that they're really pushing now to are actually interested in GLP-1 or just wanting to make some comments or some good, some bad. So I'm seeing how this works. Why wouldn't I support my wife? She's my wife. You should support the people you love or your friends. This is a journey that we all need support with, whether it be a support group, a friend, a relative, a spouse. I mean, support helps. It's very important in this process because there's a lot going on. Especially if you have a stall or any problems like that, you need that person to say, oh, it's okay. This is what's happening. Like, but you look better, and I could tell that you feel better, that type, whether, strongly believe, and I'm actually trying to talk my wife into making an appointment with a dietitian, um, nutritionist type thing, because she's been in a stall way too long. And I think my personal feeling is I think a lot of it is because she's just not getting enough calories. But I think she knows this, but maybe if she hears it from a dietitian, they might have some better ideas as to how she could increase it. Again, because I'm not a dietitian, I can just tell you what works for me. And excuse me, I know in the long run that you really shouldn't just add too many calories at once. It should be a slow type of thing. So, again, not being an expert, they could probably tell her better, and that will help. And if you have any type of health insurance, it's usually covered. So that's why I tell people use the support of your healthcare provider, a dietitian, clergy person, whatever type of support you could get, whatever helps, by all means, definitely do it. It's, why shouldn't we use every tool that we have? You know, it's my opinion. We're spending a lot of money on these medications, even though we're getting it at a better price with the compounding. It's still a lot of money. It's still, it's almost the same as my car payment. So, it's an investment, and we should have tools to help us with this investment and take the best care of this investment that we can. Um, Thank you. I am super busy at work. We have somebody out on maternity leave. We're a person short. Somebody's out because they had elbow surgery. And I always believe in taking overtime when you could get it. It's just, I'm trying to spread it out a little bit, because there was one week that I just worked the 6 days a week, 12, 13-hour weeks. And man, that wiped me out. I'm not quite as young as I used to be. And it's kind of funny, because these 20-some-year-old people or 30-year-old people that we have at work, they're not working overtime. They're just too busy partying. So it's like, do what I can, but I'm trying to limit it now, because it did get to be a little bit much. So occasionally you'll see a faceless video, again, because I just didn't have the time, because like I said, it's 6 days of all those hours. And I did wake up early to do some regular videos, I did have some backlog, but I've gone through a lot of them. I'm trying to build up that backlog again, so that I don't have to do a video every single day while I'm on vacation, but still can release one every day. Um, so, that's where I am with that. Sorry, it's allergy season here, and I was just outside taking care of the hot tub and doing the chemicals and stuff, so sinuses are a bit much. Um, and that's pretty much what's going on with the videos. Can't wait to be on vacation, and I'm looking forward to actually doing some videos there. And I'm going to do a video of us in some restaurants saying, hey, it's okay once in a while to eat something a little bit outside of what you normally do. Just, don't go crazy when, like there's this really good Italian place right by where we're staying. And, we may have some lasagna, but rather than sit there and eat the whole lasagna, we're going to split one, maybe get two salads or something like that. Again, you know, it's all up to you how you use it. Like, I know people who are using these medications and not changing what they eat at all. And, yes, they are losing, but over, I think, what is it, 12 or 13 months, they may lose 10% of their weight. Well, for me, that would have been 17 pounds in 13 months. That's not what I wanted. That's not what a lot of people wanted. So, yes, she's losing weight, but she's like, why am I only losing a pound a month? Well, hey, you're still eating absolutely everything and, having a drink every night, which is okay. But, again, moderation is the key. Maybe you could switch to a drink every other night, or, maybe not have that fried chicken, even though you're only eating one piece instead of two pieces for lunch. Maybe you should get the rotisserie chicken, just a thought. And she seemed to get a little bit upset when I said that, so I just kind of stopped saying that because it's her journey, it's not mine. Everybody does theirs differently, and I personally don't drink, but if I did, there's nothing wrong with having a drink once in a while. Again, you just might not want it to be that pina colada or something like that. You might want to have something a little bit less sugar, but hey, if you're only going to have one once in a while, I wouldn't replace a meal with that. You know, I know that people are counting their calories and some people are doing it, but remember your meals and your protein are super important. So, you know, if you're going to have it, just kind of have it, and don't starve yourself the next day or starve yourself that day so that you can have it, because that's not a very good habit, and that could lead to eating disorder type problems, not the bulimic or, that type of eating problem, but it is a type of eating problem. Like my main eating problem is eating when I'm bored or late at night. And it's basically to stay awake. And I need to stop that, and I'm working on it. Most of the time I could stop it. I had a day last week that it won. I was just basically eating everything in sight until I went to bed. Till, I mean, I wasn't sick or anything, but boy, I felt that lead in my stomach when I laid down and didn't have such a good night's sleep. And in this journey, sleep is very important because we're putting a lot of stress on our bodies, and without proper rest, you're not going to lose weight as quickly. That's just a scientific fact. And in order to lose fat, you have to do it via body function. So you're going to sweat it out, you're going to pee it out, or you're going to poop it out. So it's like drink a lot of water, because peeing it out is probably the best way. And, water makes you feel more full. Water is good for you in so many ways. I mean, our body is 70% water. So, it's really good. Uh, Hi, Shaquille. Thanks for joining us. Um, Shaquille is from Bangladesh. He's helping me so much with my channel. I can't thank him enough. Without his help, there probably wouldn't be a channel. So thank you, Shaquille. You're doing great things for me. I'm learning a lot from you. I appreciate everything that you do. So I just want to mention it to all my viewers. Without Shaquille, there probably wouldn't be a GLP-1 journey in review. I probably would have given up long ago. And he's steering the channel in the right directions, and he's working hard to help me, and it's appreciated. Um, so again, water is so good, and one of the things with the shots is, yes, they have appetite suppression, but believe it or not, they actually make us want to drink less. So that's something we have to fight, especially on our shot day or the day after. Just water, 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 because we're probably not eating enough. We're probably not getting enough protein, and you don't want to get yourself dehydrated. Besides that, because it could lead to kidney problems. It could actually lead to some kidney failure. Um, Usually only temporary, but it can, especially if you get some diarrhea or vomiting or anything with it. Keep up that water. It's just so important. Uh, if you're not going to eat your calories and you're not going to get enough protein, make sure you get a super lot of water. It's just so important. My shot day, I think I had like 6 bottles of water. Granted, 2 of them had electrolytes and a couple had some flavoring in them, but I made sure that I got my water, because I know I don't eat very, sometimes I just have a protein shake and like one bite of something for lunch. I usually have a decent dinner, but it's still a light dinner. And I always try to have my fruit just because you need the fiber and the natural sugar and stuff like that. And the fruit itself also has water in it. So I always make sure, because my shot day is Saturday, that Saturday and Sunday and even Friday, I try to gear up for that with some extra water because I know I'm not going to be having enough of anything really on those days. So that's just a hint. Water, I mean, so many of our weight problems would be solved if we all drank enough water. I had a really good workout today, both at Hotworks and also at my gym because they were basically the only things open today. Um, and again, I'm making sure that I'm allowing myself even one extra packet of electrolytes because I did sweat so much. Because again, sweating out that fat, sweating out those toxins, that's how it's done. And got to make sure that you try to do it. And somebody left my wife who can't. She's been doing her chair yoga. Her back's been bothering her, so she hasn't been doing it quite so much. Trying to take little walks again since her back's been bothering her. She hasn't been walking too far, but she's starting to. She's at least doing it. She's trying to do something. Moving, that's the key. Just move a little bit. If you can't do anything else, just move, stretch, whatever. It's the start. I'm not saying that that's totally enough, but once you start, you'd be surprised at how you'll want to continue, especially like, Val said, she lost all that weight and she just has so much more energy. I'm shocked at the amount of energy that I have now between losing all the weight and having all this protein and again the pre and probiotics, all the extra B vitamins. I don't know if the B that they're adding to any of these um, compounds is doing anything for that. I don't know. But again, that's a good idea is to find out what it is that they're adding and look it up, do a Google search, and make sure it's not going to indicate with anything that you're taking or any supplements because it's just good to know what it is. Uh, B3 and B6 are the most common ones, and I've checked them. I've checked them with the medications that I'm taking, and there doesn't seem to be a problem. I haven't checked with my healthcare provider because he's very old school. He basically doesn't believe in this kind of medication. I only go to him because he's willing to write out prescriptions that I really was originally getting from my neurologist, but my neurologist passed away and he said, I'll just take it over. And then he's also one of these that's like so old fashioned. He's a little bit older than me. He's getting ready to retire. So I do have my next one picked out and I do see her every once in a while. She does believe in all this stuff, but anyhow, it's like he doesn't even believe you should go to any specialist. If he doesn't know the answer, he'll research it. And I'm like, if I need a specialist, I don't know if that's exactly what I want because it's like I had a little bit of a breathing problem. They're saying my pulmonologist is saying it's probably just a super, super mild case of asthma, very well under control. Inhaler, and it's a maintenance type of thing. And I don't even take it every day. I take it like maybe once a week, and it's so mild that seems to take care of it. But I don't know if I want him just doing research to tell me what I should take. I want to go to somebody that actually knows about this and specializes in this. But anyhow, as far as the medications, like I said, I feel comfortable with him prescribing the other medications because I was originally getting them from my neurologist for like 7 or 8 years before he passed away. And he was a young guy, sudden heart attack type of thing. So he's probably going to be retiring soon. Like I said, I have my doctor here um, already picked out. Have seen her. I go to her like once a year just to keep her up to date because, again, once he does retire, I am going to switch over to her, but she will not write those medications. So I'll either have to go see a neurologist or somebody like that to get those. Uh, the downside to still seeing him is he's about 35, 40 minutes away because that's where I used to work. It's literally in their parking lot. So I used to just walk over and he opens at 7 o'clock in the morning. So like I would literally uh, start up my machine while it's doing its warm up and stuff, run over to his office, see him and get back and maybe keep my first patient waiting 15 minutes. So, very convenient as far as that. So that was a good thing for me. Again, is it the best thing? Probably not, because he doesn't believe in a lot of things. He doesn't believe in supplements. And he believes in everything through diet and exercise. Yes, he's one of those that, oh, you should be able to lose the weight with diet and exercise. You should be biking because, like, I'm a biker, and like I ride my bicycle all the time. I'm, like just to get him off my back. I told him I don't know how to ride a bicycle. I do, but he's like, he doesn't believe in gyms. Oh, no, just ride the bicycle. That'll do everything. It's like works for him, doesn't work for everybody. He just doesn't have that approach. Again, uh, as far as his location, proven fact that most people don't actually, if they have an emergency, just go to the emergency room and it has nothing to do with their actual primary care physician. A lot of them aren't even on staff where you end up having to go to the ER. So to me, that's not a problem. If I was a little bit older and a little more sick, possibly like my wife with her COPD would feel more comfortable if she could go to the hospital where her pulmonologist is. Now, that's not the closest to our house. So if something happened, I don't know if the ambulance would even take her to that hospital. But if usually we try not to let it get that bad, and I would just be able to drive her to the hospital where she feels most comfortable. But that's getting off subject. So as far as the GLP-1 community, looking forward to these new medications. Um, the retatrutide, they're still working on as far as I know, but from what I'm hearing, you're going to definitely have to be in the obese category to be able to take them. No longer in the obese category. I'm in my normal weight category. Hopefully, with the new medication, I'll be able to take that for maintenance. And again, we don't know what the qualifications are. They're hoping it comes out in early 2026. We'll see. I should have enough compound packed away to last till then. And if I have to, at that point, there's Eli Lilly Direct. Again, I don't know what their qualifications are if they give it to you just for maintenance. I know that the new doctor that I will be going to would probably write me out a script, and then that's probably all that they need because I wouldn't be using them as a telehealth type of visit. So, again, something to keep in mind. Also, when you're switching, what their qualifications are. Usually, these telehealth services, if you're looking for a new one because of the problems with Mochi and so forth, if you have your prescription, they don't give you a hassle as far as like, oh, what category you are. They'll continue your dose as long as you could show them a picture or upload your latest prescription. I didn't even have to do a telehealth visit with Orderly because I just sent them a photograph of my latest prescription, saying my dosage and that the doctor ordered it and so forth. And they're like, oh, I see. So you were on that dose. Okay. So I'm just going to continue it. Okay. Um, not a problem. We don't have to do a visit. This was all done via text. So again, keep that in mind. And if you're going to switch, if you're going to cancel everything from Mochi, one thing, and I don't like that Mochi is doing this, once you cancel, they get rid of all of your records. I don't know if they actually keep them, but they make sure that you don't have them. So make sure you get all of your records before you cancel a payment, before you dispute things like that. Just make sure that you have everything. I have all of my past prescriptions. I have a copy of the blood work that they ordered, which is also in with I don't remember if I use Quest. but I also have a copy of that. Uh, I have copies of the notes of my my telehealth visit with them, so that if I do run into a problem and do have to dispute something, I have all of that. So just a word of advice, again, they are having problems. I don't know if this is going to end up shutting them down. They are actually sending out the orders. There's just a gigantic wait, almost impossible to get customer support. Again, do it in the middle of the night. I wait less than 5 minutes when I call them at like 3:34, 30 in the morning. Once you hit 6, forget about it. You're going to have to wait hours. And also, like I said, and I'm going to repeat this because it's so important, don't put it on your ATM or your bank card because it's a little bit harder to dispute it that way. Put it with a good credit card. Capital One's good. Discover's good. A lot of the Visas are good. I think Chase is pretty good. American Express, if you have it. Anyone that's really good with disputes, because you'll get your money back. But like I said, now, you start that, you're gonna disappear from the records. So make sure you have the records first. But most important, we don't want to see you lose your money, because again, they had over $1,000 on actually like 1,400 or $1,500 of charges on mine, because instead of um, sending me they were sending me 1 month when I was paying for I don't know if it was 3 or 4, I think it was 4 months. So they kept charging me that for the 1 month and finally got that straightened out. As a matter of fact, I got my last 3 basically for free because they credited it all back to me and I did get the medication, but I'm not going to complain about that. So, you know, we don't want to see you pay that kind of money. And like I said, I wasn't too worried about it because I had it on my Discover card and they're very good at refunding the money in disputes. So again, I want to make sure that all of you, especially with some of these newer companies, I'm seeing a lot of really bad things written about them. I'm seeing some companies are actually sending this medication in powder form. Very easy to mess that up. So you don't want that. Um, you have to get the sterile water. You have to inject the proper amount. You have to, a lot could go wrong. Not the way to go. I know people are also now, I'm seeing ads for research grade. What the hell is research grade? I would stay away. Like, I mean, it's not. I mean, you could get it. Orderly is taking new patients. They took me on basically as a new patient, even though I used them before. Um, go with a bigger company. Check them out. Make sure they've been in business for a while. Uh, Again, I do not want to see anybody get ripped off. Uh, I also have a video coming out. I actually did a little video of me taking my shot yesterday and the preparation from washing the hands to figuring out the dosage, drawing it up, actually giving myself the shot. Because newer people just don't know how to do that. I know a lot of you are old pros. Like I've been doing this over a year. Um, but there are some new people or people that are just thinking about it. And it's like, yeah, I don't really even feel it. Uh, Also, if you have a little bit left in your bottle, take it out. Don't use that syringe to do, the rest of it. Put it in a separate syringe. Give yourself a second jab because, you're giving more opportunity to contaminate from going vial to vial because that needle's already been stuck once in a vial. And again, it's not worth your health. You don't really feel it. If you do it, it's just so minor. Take the 2 shots, you know, but get everything out. Or, if it really bothers you, if there's just, like a half a dose left, toss it if it's going to bother you that much. But, it's like put some air in the syringe, get out every little drop, and whoops, it's not enough. Cap it, get a new syringe, open up a new vial, take half out, and I would give myself 2 shots because you don't want any cross contamination. Trust me, it's not worth it. I don't think I've ever really felt an injection. So you kind of know it's there, but you don't really feel it. It doesn't really hurt. At least most people. I've talked to like 7, 8 people about this, and none of them really felt much of anything. So definitely not worth it. Just don't inject it in the same spot. And that's what I have to say. This stuff is like liquid gold. I don't want to waste it, but if you're that determined, don't use it if there's just half a dose left, because they do overfill these vials, and to me that's a good thing. That might be a really good time to inject half of it in your stomach and try half of it in your thigh or your arm or something like that. I tend to be a stomach person just because that's what's easier and that's what's good for me. I have very good luck. I don't use the same spot. I log where I've last done it and use it like a clock. And now I've also learned to go about an inch further out. So I have a lot of play, a lot of different things that I could do. I don't want to get any scarring, because if you inject in the same site too much and there's scar tissue, it's not going to be as effective. It's not going to absorb right. I've seen pictures online of people that get like a little blob where they are. The needle wasn't in quite far enough. It will absorb. Will it be as effective? Probably not. Will it be effective at all? Don't know. Yeah, I haven't had that happen. Uh, you just kind of have to wait till your next dose. The stuff has a half-life of 5 days. I have skipped a dose. I don't remember why I skipped a dose. I think I just wanted to see how long it would go. I didn't really notice a difference. I didn't want to skip it too much, because then, they say if you skip it for 3 or 4 weeks, you almost have to start over, or you could get some really bad side effects again. And I didn't want to have to go through that. So I didn't, again, when we go on vacation, we're still back and forth. I think we're going to lower our dose a little bit. Originally, like I usually take 7.5. I was going to do 5. My wife does 10. She was going to do 7.5. Yeah, I may go halfway between that because I'm debating it, because I don't want to ruin all the good work that we've done. It's like, yeah, we probably will eat a little bit more and we probably will eat a little bit less. I don't think we're going to get sick. So I don't think I'm going to take 100% of the whole dose, but like I might figure out for my wife, instead of 10, like 8-ish, and instead of 7.5, maybe like 6-ish for me. And so it's pretty close. Again, going a little bit back and forth on what we should do. We're talking about it. We will take some medication because we'll probably will be up there on a Saturday, and just in case we do go with the lower dose, if we feel it's not working, 2 days later we may put it to what our normal dose would have been. We'll have to see. I don't probably do that, but like I said, I've gone down to 5. And one time I had a little bit of food noise. The other time I didn't really have food noise, but that was just last week actually, and that was the day that I just kind of had a little bit of a, not really a breakdown, but a breakdown as far as my eating, and just like started eating almost everything in sight. Fortunately, it all was healthy, but it was still eating a little bit too much. That was probably just me and not a shot thing. Again, obviously we didn't become obese for no reason. We obviously had some sort of bad relationship with food, and that's how we got into the situation we are. So, besides working on the eating, we have to figure out why we had such a bad relationship with food and try to fix that. As far as the overeating, the appetite suppressant, does help with that, and the cravings and things like that. Yes, the medication does help with that, but once in a while, like I said, I do have a slip and fall into bad habits. Again, I'm looking back at that day. I'm jotting down things to try to figure out what triggered it. I know I was really tired. I had worked every single day, so it was probably a combination of trying to stay awake, too much on my plate, literally and figuratively. Uh, Combination of those things, got to work on that. Uh, and I will, it's like, because I do want to get back down to 5. And since I'm on 15, my medication will, 1 month should, at that point, will last 3 months. Um, no, you're not supposed to do that. No, you're not supposed to poke that many holes. Um, One possibility is when I get towards the end, maybe I'll fill up 2 syringes and store the syringe full for a week. We'll see. Uh, Looking around for suggestions on that, asking other people what they do when they split it. Uh, so that's pretty much it. Uh, Pretty well covered a lot of topics. Want to know if anybody has any ideas of what they want me to do. Again, since a lot of my audience is a little bit older, I'm working on a script on menopause and weight loss and the GLP-1 medication, peri and premenopause, because a lot of my viewers are of that age. And like I said, if you're not, it's just good information to know. So uh, anybody have anything to say in the comments? There's like, what, 6 of you here now? I think to do when I'm bored is to walk. That's a good thing to do, Val, but it literally is time for me to go to bed. I don't want to do that type of thing right before I go to bed because I'll have a hard time. And I know sleeping is just so important. I was getting a good 7 hours of sleep. Now with all this work and stuff, I'm probably only getting 6.5. Last night I had a great night's sleep because I was off today. I check it all on my Aura Ring. I have a video coming up on all these trackers. Still comparing them all. So everybody can tell me what they think. I don't have iWatch because I'm an Android person, um, but I do have the Samsung Watch, and that is in the review there. I do, from what I hear, the iWatch is a little bit better, but it is what it is. The main reason why I have my watch is because it also has its own phone line in case I forget my phone, or I can actually make phone calls from my watch if I have to, because I don't always have my phone. Get this in the picture. There we go. My phone around. Sometimes it's in the other room. I try not to sleep with my phone, only because I know work does call me because we have a lot of new people, and I tend to be the one that they call, and I just don't take phone calls after like 8:30. So call a supervisor, call somebody. Most of our centers close at 9, so it's not like I'm really leaving them to fend for themselves. But uh, they would only have a question on their last patient, and hey, and that's how you learn if they're new techs. But so that's why I have my watch. So I don't really count on it too much as far as tracking. Yes, I do look at the steps. I don't think any of them are 100% accurate, and I say so in my video. But if you have 10,000 steps on any of these devices, and the next day you have 14,000, you've increased. That's what I use it for. Uh, just like very important when you're trying to figure out your calories used and what calories you need when you're in any of the TDE. Don't even put down your exercise. And they may ask, how many times a week you exercise. That you can put in, but don't Like if I would go by my ring or my watch or even my Fitbit on my workouts, like some days I would have an extra 400 calories. That's not true. It's like it's just not true. So if I think, oh, I worked out, hey, I could have a Big Mac, no, it's not true. So keep that all in mind. Uh, I'm going to be signing off here in a minute because I want you all to have a good holiday. I need to spend some time with my wife. I've been working a lot again, work a lot this week, but then after that, the whole next 6 weeks after that, I've only picked up like one extra day. They may possibly pick up one here or there, but like then I'm not on the schedule. So it's like if they call me and say, "Oh, we really need you," I can say, "Well, I'm only going to work 6, 7 hours. These are the hours. Take it or leave." So that's what I'm doing because again, I want to take care of me. I have been exercising a little bit less because of all this work, but I make sure I get at least 3 to 3.5 hours of exercise in a week. I was getting like 4 to 5, and I want to get back up to that because, exercise is my me time. It makes me feel so good. I just like it. I kind of reward myself at the end of it because where I end first I go to the hot works, which I really enjoy because of, I really like the saunas and stuff like that. Then when I go to the gym, they have this little, red light room, not very red lightish, and it's got one of those shaking machines, which I don't think does much as far as working out, but it does get things moving. It helps with your circulation. It helps with your lymphatic circulation. So, and it feels really good on your back. It feels really good. So I reward myself with that. And then they have the hydro bed massages for 10 minutes. Sometimes I'll do that twice. And that's kind of like my reward. And I just feel like so good afterwards, so relaxed. I've had my me time. I've had my headphones on, just like jam into the music that I like. It's just, again, it's my me time. It's how I chill. So I want to get back to that. And that's about all I have to say for this week. Y'all have a good Easter. Not exactly sure because 3 week of Mother's Day. Mother's Day is the day that we leave, so I'm not sure what time the live will be, or if I'll have it maybe the night before or the day after. We'll see. Uh, Anybody has any comments or suggestions, please leave it as a comment. Please make sure that you're entering my contest. I want to give you some gift cards. I probably will be giving one away in a week or two because we have well, by then we'll have enough people to actually have the contest. And I'll keep this going, and when we get enough people again for another one, uh, I'll give another one away. You all have been great. Please like, subscribe, share. Uh, any questions, any topics, please let me know. It's been great. And I want you all to have a good night.